Biafra, superstars, media.
My people, my Biafra people, now how on a day, I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending from where you're listening to the sound of my voice. This is the Biafra Superstars Media, and I'm holding it down. I say may God bless Biafra, and may God bless His Excellency, Nnamdi Kanu. May God bless His Excellency, the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic Government in Exile. And since the advent of the event that took place on the 29th of November, we are now a nation. So I say, may God bless the Prime Minister of the United States of Biafra, His Excellency, ESN, Ekpa, Simon and Ojukwu, for the job Simon is doing. Simon, I want to say we thank you. We appreciate you. We love you because we know in your hands Biafra is coming. In your hands Biafra is safe. And in your hands, now that Biafra has come, the people of Biafra must rejoice. Above all, I say may God bless Her Excellency, the Deputy Prime Minister of the United States of Biafra, Her Excellency, Dr. Ngozi Orabueze, for the job she's doing. Madam, we want to say we thank you. We are glad that the storm is over. We are glad the Biafrans, our eyes are now open. Only the deaf, dumb, and blind will refuse to see what we are seeing. Madam, kudos to you. Madam, you have been vindicated. Continue with the good job because we love you and we are so glad that you have taken this upon yourself to make sure that the legacy of Obatobie continues. Madam, we thank you and may God bless you. My fellow Biafrans, today, for me, this is like a part 2 of our sister, Uchechi, the wife of our leader, Nnamdi Kanu. In the first chapter of this video, or the part 1, if you want to call it that way, I was a bit calm, I was solemn, I was trying to understand her. I was trying to know the wife of our leader. Because sometimes when you read about Mandela, it is also good to read about Winnie Mandela. At the dying stage of the revolution, or whatever you would want to call what happened in South Africa during the days of apartheid, Mandela was locked up in jail, and Winnie Mandela continued with the work, the good works of Mandela. But at the end, when Mandela was released and they promised to make him president, the first thing told to him was that your wife is now radical. You are changed. You are a changed man. You are a born again per se, but your wife is still radical. In that case, you may have to divorce your wife. So a journey that started, the wife of Mandela seeing her husband as a young Mandela, Madiba, seeing Madiba, that's his name, as a young man becoming a freedom fighter. She had no other option than to join her husband. But suddenly, her husband was kidnapped or sent to jail. And she continued the ways of her husband. But suddenly, her husband, while in jail, I will tell you this because you guys don't know this thing, he was broken down. The same way they are trying to break down Nnamdi Kanu, the husband of Winnie Mandela, Mandela himself, was broken down. And suddenly, while in jail, he fell in love with the plants, the trees, the gardens in the jail. He became a botanist, a studier of the plants. And when those that put him in jail saw that, they were happy. They couldn't believe their luck. That, wow, this man has suddenly turned around. He's now loving life. He's now in love with the plants. He has volunteered to be taking care of the plants, the gardening in the prison where he was. Some of you may not know this story. So while his wife was outside shouting black power, free, free Mandela, we calling for him to be freed. While she was doing that, her husband was busy in jail studying plants, studying how they blossom, studying how the petals, the roses, they come out in the day, during the spring, in the morning, and they die off. That was the only time that those in government knew, okay, we are ready to use him. They brought him out, they discussed peace, and they said the only way we can forge everyone together in peace and unity is for you to become the president. A man fighting against the system was suddenly made the president of that country. So he was now going against his principles, against his views. He was speaking about a one South Africa. Suddenly, his wife became his his opposition, because she was still maintaining the gospel, the real gospel of Mandela. And at the end, they told him, you have to divorce your wife. And before you knew it, Mandela went his way, and his wife, Minnie Mandela, went her way. To call a spade, today, the real who is who in Africa, they see Mandela as a coward. He's a softie. He was broken down in jail. While Winnie Mandela is being revered to the highest esteem as a woman who stood firm, and she did not deviate. My fellow Prime Minister, my people out there, I say all that to say this. I don't know this woman called Uchechi Kanu. I know he's her husband, and I want to understand her psychology. That's all I'm saying. I want to understand her perspective. I don't want to go with what the crowd are saying about her. I want to know her, to know what she believes in, what she stands for, and her ideology to life, what she understands about this thing called freedom. What does she know about the Prime Minister? What's her stance on Mazi Ekpa, Simon Ojukwu? What's her stance on Biafra? What's her stance on the United States of Biafra? What's her stance on the independence that was redeclared on the 29th of November 2024? What's her stance on the DOS? What's her stance on what happened to her husband in Kenya? What's her stance with what the politicians are doing in that so-called Nigeria? What's her stance with Ohaneze and the rest of them? What's her stance with the so-called governors from the southeast? What's her stance when they came to her and promised her that her husband would be released in Christmas or on the so-called birthday of Christ? What's her perspective to life? What does she understand about these things? My fellow Biafrans, at this point, I will start off this video by hearing a bit of her, and let's continue from there. I want to know her. This is a session for me. I'll be a student, and I will listen attentively to our sister, Uchechi Kanu. Fellow Biafrans, if you're ready, let's go there. Listen.
We also find people believe to some extent that you actually sold your husband. You know, you are not obliged to respond or dignify that accusation with any response. But I like to find out, when you hear such accusations, how does it make you feel?
Okay.
I don't feel it. I just feel Mazi, well, it's something that I know that was directed to quite a lot of people. And I am someone who I do not underestimate anybody. And I do not underestimate the capacity that a person's foolishness or how much or how far it can go when someone is foolish. It can go a long way in ruining things and destroying things for you. Having said that, the very first time I ever heard that, I laughed. I laughed. But then when you look at the people who are saying these, they are not important. And that's one of the things that kind of drives them mad, because individually, we all know the people who are important in our lives and whose sayings would matter. Or whose sayings, even though the person is not important, does that person's saying has any impact somewhere, somehow? So these are the things that I watch out. So when I see comments such as that, the thing is, I just get like a report, basically, because I try not to read comments. Believe you me, I try, but I don't. I laugh, and I understand that some people kind of get entertainment from people who actually need help from a mental home. So I don't take that seriously, because in a situation, you have a husband, you have a wife, and then you have family members, extended family members, and you have uncles and aunties, and then you have the communities, and you have the village people. So when they begin to say things that are not true, you want to find out where that is coming from.
Hold it there. Hold it there with all due respect. I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but when you use the word they, when they say things that are not true, you kind of wonder where those things are coming from. Our sister, I will put it to you today, that from the source I gathered, there was a saying that your husband will be released on Christmas Day. The who is who in the so-called Southeast, the so-called politicians, they came to you and they promised you that Oyendo will be released on Christmas Day. Even the legal team were not spared. Somebody like Aloy Ejimako was even cajoled to believe this. What you are seeing now is a video on the Twitter page of Aloy Ejimako, showing that on Christmas Day, the best gift to the Biafrans will be the freedom of Oyendo Nnamdi Kanu. You see, people like us, when we hear things from the source, and suddenly we are seeing things manifest in the public, then we know that, yes, the info we have is valid. So when you're saying they, and they said this, they said that, I understand where you're coming from. But sometimes we must put flesh to the day, put a name to the day. Who were those that told you that your husband will be released on Christmas Day, that Tinubu has not had an agreement with the caliphate? Because I know Tinubu is not the one holding Nnamdi Kanu, for crying out loud. I know the caliphates are the ones responsible for what Oyendo is going through. And somehow you guys believe in this partnership. You say there's a mutual understanding between Tinubu and Ohaneze, Tinubu and the Southeast politicians. The video you just saw is a celebration of Nnamdi Kanu being released on Christmas Day. So let's call it spade a spade. I'm not here to bash anybody, but please, when you are saying they, you are making it a bit vague, because there is nobody with a name called they. Name names. We saw you with Bianca, Ojukwu, and the rest of them. We heard the story about you, the DOS, and the likes, writing a petition to Finland about Simon Ekpa. when I came with the theory of releasing Barnabas over Jesus. Some of you did not catch it. I was hearing this stuff, this cable, all this while, that there's an agreement to release Nnamdi Kanu at the expense of Simon Ekpa. And before you know what happened, it all played out. Right now, the case of Simon Ekpa is not Nigeria versus Simon Ekpa. It is the Southeast versus Simon Ekpa. Who are those in the Southeast that brought this case against Simon Ekpa? So please, miss me with all this. They said this, they assume that. With all due respect, I'm here to call a spade a spade. You guys were lied to. You were lied to about the release of Nnamdi Kanu. And right now, suddenly, due to the selfish interest of a few, you've now put the life of Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa in jeopardy. You believed in the caliphate. So when people are speaking out, don't just, generalize and say they are saying this, they are saying that. Excuse me with all those they talk. Let's continue, please.
Now, before you move forward, I'm not gonna cut you off. I want you to continue from there. But have you ever in any way had any doubt in your mind for a second about the leadership of IPOB? Have you ever had any doubt in your mind about their capacity?
No, never. I don't have any doubt about their leadership or their capacity. I only pray and hope that whatever they're doing now, they would increase it more, because they're doing very well and they've done very well.
Wow, okay.
What they've done is, can't be seconded. So no, I've never had any doubt about their capacity to carry on, because the 3 years of storm and whirlwind and tornadoes and tsunami, and they swam it all and still standing. So there is no doubt. I have no doubt about their capacity, though.
So do I say that is a vote of confidence?
Hey.
Absolutely. Of course, that is a vote of confidence.
Madam, you are being set up with these questions. You are being set up. It's all laid down. Why is that every time you come to their platform, they're asking you, do you believe in the so-called DOS, the Directorate of State? Madam, you gave a very good answer. I don't expect you to come in the public when your husband has not come out yet to tell us those who are responsible for what transpired in Kenya. So I'm happy with your response. That's the safest answer to give for now. But I know that when Oyendo is freed, things will be different. When Oyendo is freed, things will be different. You know what I know, and you know what I mean. Let's continue.
Of course, I have confidence in them, and I'm gonna imagine this to where I stopped. I have confidence in them because they have kept the legacy of Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB. They've kept that core value, which is we are not going back. We are out here for our people. Our people are suffering and we must protect them. Self-preservation. That is one of the things that I preach. And these men are standing upright, standing firm for this very legacy.
Hold it there, my sister, with all due respect. You are wrong when it comes to the legacy of Nnamdi Kanu. The reason why the 80 million Biafrans, they submitted themselves to the leadership of Oyendo is for the liberation of Biafra. It's for the redeclaration of Biafra. He promised us, he had the blueprint, and he was doing a marvelous job. The only way you can protect your people is to liberate them. Don't tell me that his plan was to allow the Biafrans to somehow find a way to adjust and live their life in Nigeria. No. Don't come with that nonsense. Don't tell me it was all about just protecting lives and property. That's the job of the ESN for crying out loud. When we had the ESN then, the main legacy of Nnamdi Kanu was to redeclare Biafra. And even though some people tried to stop that legacy, they tried to kill it, they tried to halt it, they failed. Because the disciple of Nnamdi Kanu said, not on his watch. His real disciple, not those you are giving these accolades. His real disciple, Mazi Ekpa, Simon Ojukwu, said not on his watch. He maintained the movement. He maintained the vision, the goal, the objective was to get us Biafra. And that's the legacy for Nnamdi Kanu being fulfilled. Because in the zoo, when they say legacy, you think sometimes it is things that somebody has left behind that must be protected. No. Sometimes the legacy is all about carrying on with that journey, taking it to a new dimension, improving upon the legacies of Nnamdi Kanu, because while he was here with us as a free man, he told us to pray the books of Psalms. We were praying the books of Psalms, and we know what would have happened at the end of those prayers. Some of you don't know that the book of Psalms is more like a prayer. Yes, it's in the Bible, but the book of Psalms is like a prayer. Songs and prayers. So when she's saying here that the legacy was just to that the DOS, they've maintained it. What have they done since our leader was kidnapped? Nothing. They stalled. They stopped making any move. They backslided. Only one man continued to improve upon the legacies of Nnamdi Kanu. Only one man made sure the motion was still moving, the train was still moving. And that man is Mazi Ekpa, Simon Ojukwu. To call a spade a spade. Don't come here and say what you don't understand. People took the legacy of your husband, those they call the DOS. They took it back to 2012. They took his movement back to 2012. They said they are now doing awareness. With all due respect, your husband was doing awareness when he was still working as a radio head, a radio presenter. Still hustling, jostling, trying to buy a radio transformer. To do what? To create awareness. We have gone beyond that stage. Now the Biafrans, we have heard, we are aware, we have listened, we understand the memo, we've gotten the message. We now know it is time to liberate ourselves. We have come together under one voice, under one accord. We are moving towards liberation. And Nigeria struck. So how come those that you are giving this accolade, you are saying they are maintaining his legacy? No, till this day they have said nothing to those that kidnapped your husband from Kenya. Till this day they have even gone to partner with the politicians, the so-called politicians from the southeast, those that proscribed IPOB and made it a so-called terrorist organization. They went back to the enemy. They went back to the enemy. So please, with all due respect, I understand you are playing it safe because these questions, they are laid out to entrap you, to see your perspective, and perhaps to know what Nnamdi Kanu is thinking. So to an extent, I'm happy that you are giving them the answer they want to hear. But you and I know that when Oyindu is freed, things will come out. Because those same people, they said that Simon Ekpa was working with the politicians. But today, those same people, they've now seen the issues between Simon Ekpa and the so-called politicians. And guess what? Those same people are the ones that worked, they connived, they colluded with the politicians to blackmail their brother, Mazi Ekpa Simon Ojukwu. Let's continue. Listen.
More can anyone ask? So I would have been worried if they were, oh, we don't know what to do. Oh, what can we do? I would have been worried. And, well, of course, I would have stood up and said something about it. But since that is not the case, it's only going to be more grease to their elbow, more strength to the strength that they already have, and making it times 1,000. You know, strength. Nnamdi Kanu would give me the name of the rest of the power that it, that it is. So yeah, maybe November Tijillion or whatever he calls them. So yes, so it's just going to be more grease to their elbow. Yeah.
So are you telling Biafrans today that from the accusations, because we've seen people accuse the DOS as well of selling Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, just like you were also accused of selling Mazin. Are you telling us that DOS never contributed in the selling of Mazin Nnamdi Kanu? Is it what you are trying to?
Can you see the questions? It's all laid out. So she's playing it safe. I want to believe she knows the truth, but she's playing it safe. Because only a fool will come out in a platform and give the real answers to those kind of questions. So I want to believe she's playing it safe by feeding the beast what they want to eat. Sometimes you have to play it safe. As long as Oyindu is still in the hands of the enemy, you must play it safe until he's freed. You must learn how to play safe. Even in the case of Simon Ekpa, in the cabinet, there was, conflict. People have to be sacked. But Simon Ekpa played it safe until Biafra was redeclared. That was the safe thing to do, or the safest option to take. But unfortunately, the enemies struck before Biafra was declared or redeclared. That's why he's still answering questions in Finland. Sometimes you must play it safe, even though we are now in the most dangerous period of the movement. You must learn to know when to speak out and when to shield your sword. So she's playing it safe here. That's me looking from the outside. I hope she's playing it safe by giving these answers. Let's continue. Take it back and listen to the question.
It's very legacy. What more can anyone ask? So I would have been worried if they were, oh, we don't know what to do. Oh, what can we do? I would have been worried. And, well, of course, I would have stood up and said something about it. But since that is not the case, it's only going to be more grease to their elbow, more strength to the strength that they already have, and making it times 1,000. Strength. Nnamdi Kanu would give me the name of the rest of the power that it, that it is. So yeah, maybe November Tijillion or whatever he calls them. So yes, so it's just going to be more grease to their elbow. Yeah.
So are you telling Biafrans today that from the accusations, because we've seen people accuse the DOS as well of selling Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, just like you were also accused of selling Mazin. Are you telling us that DOS never contributed in the selling of Mazin Nnamdi Kanu? Is it what you are trying to? Is it the picture you are trying to paint? Nnamdi Kanu. Is it what you are trying to? Is it the picture you are trying to paint?
Well, it's not a picture I'm painting, it's the truth. It's already painted. The picture is already painted. It's out there. It's just, it's, when someone wants to bring down your morale and cause you to depart from your journey. They start to throw stones and throw, when people train to play chess and all that kind of trainings, you see they start to kind of incorporate some distractions and see. So I remember one of the simulation exercises that I created.
Listen.
In the past, because in disaster recovery and the rest of them, risk management, these are the sort of things that you can create. So you create simulation exercises. You have someone who is under pressure at work, trying to do, there's been an earthquake or there's been something at work, and then you're having family emergency call, just, things, distractions. So they understood gladly, regardless, because they will feel bad that they're being accused of such thing. More especially when it's coming from a certain channel that shouldn't have been involved.
Lolo, does it mean that all...
You see the cut in there? Do you see the interruption? Because there is a laid down question. She's very, very smart. I want to believe she's giving them the answer they want to hear. She just mentioned a simulation kind of course that she sometimes runs. A simulation is trying to create a real life situation in a controlled environment. What will you do in this situation? In a controlled environment, you simulate a real life situation. So for the fact she knows about that, I am confident that she knows her onion. And at this point, she knows when someone is trying to rely into saying something. And sometimes, to keep it safe, you feed them what they want to hear. You give them the answers that they want to hear. That's how somebody with that foresight will understand. My husband is still being locked up. They want to know what my husband has told me about them. In most cases, the enemy will come and pull you in. What has your friend told you? And you have to play it safe. Not, my king. Nothing. In fact, you're a very good man, All hail the king, all hail the king. But deep inside, you know the truth. So I want to hope. I want to pray. That's what she's doing here. Because towards the end, you will see why I had to, justify that, okay, she's playing to the gallery to an extent here. Let's continue. Just listen to the question, the barrage of questions from this same guy to show you there was a script to test her pulse, to know what she knows, how far she knows it, and the info given to her by Oyendu. Let's continue. Listen.
The time you visited Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, he never confided in you. He never called you by the side and said, my wife, listen, these men in the deal sold me. They contributed in my betrayal. Was there no such an interaction?
Hold it there. Can you see what I'm saying? This man can't land now. So, okay, are you telling me that there was no time when you were with your husband? Your husband now called you in the night and say, see you, and this is you. How do you expect her to tell you something in a private, a bedroom discussion? If it was meant in the public, then Oyendu would have said it in the public. But for the fact that some things were said in the private, behind closed doors, Mr. Questioner came, you made a mistake by asking those questions. It means the thing that was discussed in the private, you are expecting her to reveal it to you? Where is that done? Biafrans, listen to the question of this guy. He now had to land in his point. Say, but is there no time in the private where Oyendu told you something? That look, these DOS guys, they did this to us. Only a foolish fool, only a foolish fool will come in the public and give answers to what was told to them in the secret. Because of that, I will take it back for us to listen to the question again. Listen.
Pressure at work, trying to do, there's been an earthquake or there's been something at work, and then you're having family emergency call. Just, things, distractions. So they understood gladly, regardless, because they will feel bad that they're being accused of such thing. More especially when it's coming from a certain channel that shouldn't have been involved.
Lolo, does it mean that all through the time you visited Nnamdi Kanu, he never confided in you, he never called you by the side and said, my wife, listen, these men in the US sold me, they contributed in my betrayal. Was there no such an interaction?
Gossip.
Nnamdi Kanu never told you, confided in you, in telling you that US sold him all through the time you visited.
Secret now?
No. If you recall, in 2021, that was during my mom's funeral, because I had to try and attend. And
let's stop it there. It's a bit private stuff, so I will not discuss that side about her mom's funeral. We have to respect the dead, so I'll continue somewhere else.
My younger sister, she was in a shop.
Listen.
And some of our people were in the shop, and the other one was explaining how I am a marine, I'm from the marine world, and I did some incantations, and I hit my hand on the wall, and Onyendu disappeared and came out in his right. And my younger sister was looking at them like this, like, okay. And it became a story. In fact, Onyendu knows one of these ones where they say, oh, his wife is the incantation one. She's the one doing she's from the water. This is
No, but absolutely, your prayers have definitely sustained, because the prayer of the wife is always sustaining the husband. So when you are referred to as Ezewanyi, those who make those proclamations are speaking from their own understanding of the kind of prayer you've offered, because without being told, it is very, very clear that you've been supportive of Nnamdi Kanu. You've been there for him, both in prayers and in thought, and you've also been there physically. And that leads me to the
listen now to the main side here, to show you that she knows what's going on, but she was just feeding them the information. The next thing you will hear will be a deep shock about what is going on with Nnamdi Kanu and the so-called DOS. You will listen to what she said next, because she's still dealing with the wrong channel of DOS. She doesn't know that the Biafran people, they have left the DOS. The spirit of Biafra has departed that of the DOS. It has moved and has anointed Mazi Ekpa, Simon and Ojukwu as the one to carry on with the mission, the legacy of Nnamdi Kanu. My sister, at this point, I want you to now reason with me. My sister Uchechi Kanu, at this point, from the submission you make next, reason with me. We know Onyendu is somebody that the 80-point-something million Biafrans love. We are ready to die for him. We are ready to kill for him. We are ready to do anything for Onyendu. But suddenly, in this story, you will hear her say she put out a petition, and it needs just 10,000 signatures for it to pass and be read in the UK, House of Commons or whatever. Ordinary 10,000 till this day, because she's still anchoring her ship on the shoulders of the DOS. Ordinary 10,000. This is the third month. They cannot have signatures for that petition to be discussed in the UK government. But you and I know, if our sister has done the right thing to support the disciple of Nnamdi Kanu, Mazi Ekpa, Simon and Ojukwu, in less than 1 day, if Simon Ekpa puts out a tweet that our leader Nnamdi Kanu His wife has put out a petition in England. I want Biafrans to go and sign that petition. It will be the history in the UK. Because for the first time, the parliament will see more than 2 million people sign a petition in less than 1 week. Because we, the Biafrans, we have departed from the DOS. We have followed the real person, the real disciple that Oyendu told us to listen to. You know this, my sister, but instead you are being stubborn at the expense of your husband. All you should have done was to reach out to the people, say, please, Simon Ekpa, I have this thing going on, this petition. I need it to please reach out to the Biafrans to sign. You and I know that if Simon Ekpa even makes just one tweet, more than 2 million will sign that petition. That tells you that the people are with Simon Ekpa. The Biafrans are with Simon Ekpa. The 80 million Biafrans are with Simon Ekpa, because as we speak, we've gotten over 50 million people vote in a referendum. My sister, you know all these things, but I wonder why you are being stubborn at the life of your husband, because you know the petition will help that discussion to take place in England. I believe you are based in England. So why must you not do something that will quicken the petition to be read? Instead, you are anchoring on those you said they are doing the job, that they have been great, that they are doing a marvelous job. You put it on the hands of the DOS, and for 3 months, they've not been able to raise 10,000 signatures. My dear friends, hear her give the testimony of all what I've just said. Listen to the question and the answer she will give. I felt so sad at that point, and I said, I must make this video. Listen, please, lend me your ears in this one. My Biafrans, lend me your ears. Today, you will separate the chaff from the wheat. You will see the actions of the DOS. Ordinary 10,000 signatures they could not provide for her husband, the husband or the wife of our leader. Ordinary 10,000 signatures. Listen to the question and the answer, and it will blow your mind. You will now know that of a truth, Simon Ekpa is the chosen one to carry on with the legacy of Nnamdi Kanu. Listen, please. Pay attention.
Petition that was signed, which I also participated in. How was the response of that petition?
Thank you, Mazi. The response, because it's global, I wanted to having to do that, to go through to doing petition. You know how the UK is, they think they are punishing us. They're not. They're punishing themselves, because gradually they are coming off the slide. They are going into. They're being removed from the players, the world players, and they're gradually petering out on the impact that they made globally, and that is because of our and their hypocrisy. So I always say that there's one of my tweets that I did say that if ever the online dictionary ever became pictorial, they should use England as hypocrisy. When they type the word hypocrisy, England should be the picture of England should show as the epitome of hypocrisy. If they've managed, in several forms to remove themselves from this very situation, or pretend like nothing is going on. And luckily, the members of the parliament, because they are the ones that created this all People's Party, parliament parties. So members of this parliament group came together and formed the APPG. And because this is one of the things that happen when you begin to hear some noises all over the place. So they formed this and launched on the 8th of October. I can't remember now. Can't remember the date. But I was at the House of Commons for that launch. And it was because, or it is because of the UK national or the UK citizens who are held hostage in different countries and held arbitrarily, which Nnamdi Kanu is also one of the victims. So we attended, and I think the invite came from Richard Ratcliffe. Most of the times I've referenced the wife, Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe, who was taken in can't remember now. She's British Iranian, so she was abducted. But her case is also different because her husband is pure British, and her case is between the UK government and the Iranian government. So that's a different story altogether. But Nnamdi Kanu's case is about. In fact, currently there's one of the cases that was discussed on that launch has been discussed in the Parliament before Christmas. It happened which of the Thursdays? I think Jimmy.
Investing your hard-earned money can.
It was discussed. But ours have not been discussed because we've not hit the target of 10,000. And that got me thinking, I started to think and wonder, Nnamdi Kanu is a leader of over how many million people. So having a signature on that petition of 10K would have been like that.
Yes. Oyendu is the leader of more than 80 million people. And having a 10K signature would have been like just a snap. Unfortunately, those that are around you right now, the DOS, who are pretending to be championing the case for Nnamdi Kanu, the people have departed them. They've been deserted. That's the problem. Because that snap that you just did, the snap of the finger, it means the people will respond immediately. But unfortunately, the people have moved. As the Spirit of God moved from Saul to David, the same thing has happened. Simon Ekpa is the chosen one. I know some of you might not be able to see because some of you are making a mistake thinking this freedom is about the family. A family business, not you. I don't want to put you in that box. But that's the mistake you're making. It's about the people. And you must go by what the people want. You must go by the people's choice. The people chose Oyendu as our leader. And while our leader is being kidnapped by the Zoo government, the terrorist government, the spirit of Biafra moved from Oyendu to Simon Ekpa, his most beloved disciple. So just 10,000 signatures has been a problem for the past 3 months to help the case of Nnamdi Kanu, because those that you channel it to, you came out in the public to attack Simon Ekpa. That was the mistake from your own part. We understand there was pressure on you to do that. We understand there was pressure on you to stand on what you believe in. They want to know where you stand on, the DOS. They were forcing you to do what you did. That was the biggest mistake, coming out in the public to attack Simon Ekpa, because it now means we the Biafrans seeing what you did against Simon Ekpa. When you now come with a project, something vital to help Nnamdi Kanu, we will not partake because we don't know if it's you or the DOS who is asking you to do those things. And if we partake, the glory will go to you and the DOS. If the Biafrans come out and make that signature go up to 2 million, the story that you will tell Nnamdi Kanu is, Oyendu, the DOS just helped me and the DOS. We put this thing out for just 10,000 signatures, but suddenly 2 million signed it in less than 1 week. It is the biggest signature, calculated so far in the UK. The glory would have gone to the DOS. And they will come on radio Biafra to boast. and say, yes, when the wife of Nnamdi Kanu asked for 10,000 signatories, we, the DOS, we spoke to the people and she got 2 million. So in order for that not to happen, the people of Biafra, we maintained the camp of Simon Ekpa. Because our actions or inactions will influence the outcome of those signatures. Ordinary 10,000 for 3 months. You've not been able to acquire 10,000 signatures for 3 months. That should tell you that those running the affairs, those that you have linked with running the affairs of Nnamdi Kanu, they are doing a very bad job. Because Oyendu, in a snap of a finger, 2 million will sign, 3 million they will be begging that they want to sign. You will tell them it is too late. We already have 2 million. You guys, thanks, but there is no need anymore. Because the system, the computer, the data of Britain cannot handle it. Their website has shut down because 2 million signatures have already signed and 3 million are trying to sign more. Please don't sign anymore. We have enough. Madam, you and I know that's the truth. Biafra is for the people. Biafra is a spirit. Biafra represents the 80 million people living in the eastern region. And the people have moved to Simon Ekpa. Whether you like it or not. We still love Nnamdi Kanu. He's our leader. But right now, the person he told us to listen to is Simon Ekpa. He told us, I repeat, you must listen to Simon Ekpa, share his videos, because Simon is coming with a new dimension. Not just the legacy of Nnamdi Kanu, he spoke, he predicted, he foresaw a new dimension. A new dimension means to improve upon this dimension that Nnamdi Kanu is currently standing on. It's like coming, you're building a house, you build 2-story building, and the owner of the house said, oh, please meet my son, meet this engineer. He is coming to build another story building. It means a new dimension, something upon you, improve upon the work of Oyendu Nnamdi Kanu. And the people, because of that, we have moved towards Simon Ekpa. My sister, that's the gospel truth. I hope it dawned on you that ordinary 10,000 DOS could not give it to you. Ordinary 10,000 signatures. They could not speak out for 3 months. 3 good months. You could not gather 10,000 signatures. But Simon Ekpa, we're doing our voting. We got over 50 million Biafrans voting, participate in the voting. What does that tell you? What does that tell you in the name of God? Look at the mirror. Go back to Oyendu and tell him, Oyendu, ordinary 10,000 DOS could not do it. But Simon Ekpa raised 50 million people to vote for a referendum. A much tedious task. The process is more complex. To vote is more complex. Much riskier because some people had to vote queuing up in Biafra land. And we raised 50 million plus people. My sister, with all due respect, now that should have told you that the people of God have departed the so-called DOS and the rest of them. That should have told you that the people of God have made their own judgment, their own pronouncement, that because in the watch of the DOS, they did not know where Nnamdi Kanu was for 8 good days. If they were the supporters of Nnamdi Kanu, they should have known. The so-called head of the DOS, Chike Idozim, should have known that Nnamdi Kanu was based in Kenya. But because your leader took that away from them, that tells you there was a miscommunication when it comes to trust. There was a barrier. There was no more trust between Oyendu and the people. That was why Oyendu, praying in the private, begging God for 100 men, he did not get the answer until he came in the public. And in the public he cried. He said, up until now, Father, I've been asking you for 100 men too many women around. He was referring to the DOS as women. He said, Papa, I need men. I did not say boys. I say I need men. Men who knew the assignment in their mother's womb. I need men. I need 100 men. He said it in the public. In the public. And there rose the young man, Mazi, Ekpa, Simon Ojukwu, who said, Oyendo, if you need 100 men as you have proclaimed, I will make your job easier because in me, I am 50 in 1. And ever since, the spirit of Biafra has ascended upon our brother, Mazi, Ekpa, Simon Ojukwu. Sometimes it might be hard for you guys to see it as a reality. Sometimes there might be some, stakeholders who might feel they have more influence, that things must be done through them. I understand that. But to call a spade, Biafra is about the people. Biafra is for the people. Biafra is about the liberation of the people. Biafra is the name of a country, of a people. And wherever the people go, so does Biafra. And the people of God, the people of Biafra, we have said, because of what happened to Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya. Our leader was in Kenya, kidnapped for 8 days, and those under his so-called leadership, they refused to tell us. Instead, now they are partnering, they are working with the politicians, those that proscribed IPOB. Can't you see it? Can't you see it, my sister? Ordinary 10,000 signatures. They could not offer that to you. But pride will make you not to ask the right source, the right person that can speak to the Biafrans, the right man that has the ear of the Biafrans. All you should have done was reach out to the government of Biafra. Tell them your plan to raise 10,000 signatures. And in less than a minute, that would have been done. But instead, you have allowed our leader to go through this unheard for 3 months. 3 months is too much, my sister, with all due respect. It's a slap on the face of Nnamdi Kanu that he needed just 10,000 signatures through his wife, and for 3 months you've not been able to raise 10,000. It's a slap, it's an insult on our leader, Nnamdi Kanu. All you should have done was reach out to the Biafra Republic government in exile, and it will be case closed. Your request will be met. But instead, you want to believe on the US. No, I will tell you this. The 10,000 you raised, or the 8,000 something numbers and signatures you raised, was based on your efforts. No, don't put that on the DOS. They did nothing for you. The people have left them. They are now a defunct criminal organization. The people of God have left them, my sister. That's the truth that must be told. So let's take it back, hear the whole story, and now allow the sleeping dogs to lie. Listen.
I created this all People's Party, Parliament Party. So members of this Parliament group came together and formed the APPG. And because this is one of the things that happen when you begin to hear some noises all over the place. So they formed this and launched on the 8th of October. I can't remember now. Can't remember the date. But I was at the House of Commons for that launch. And it is because of the UK national or the UK citizens who are held hostage in different countries and held arbitrarily, which Nnamdi Kanu is also one of the victims. So we attended, and I think the invite came from Richard Ratcliffe. Most of the times I've referenced the wife, Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe, who was taken in can't remember now. She's British Iranian, so she was abducted. But her case is also different because her husband is pure British, and her case is between the UK government and the Iranian government. So that's a different story altogether. But Nnamdi Kanu's case is about. In fact, currently there's one of the cases that was discussed on that launch has been discussed in the Parliament before Christmas. It happened which of the Thursdays? I think Jimmy.
Invest in your hard-earned money.
It was discussed, but ours have not been discussed because we've not hit the target of 10K.
Listen.
Thousand. And that got me thinking, I started to think and wonder, Nnamdi Kanu is a leader of over how many million people. So having a signature on that petition of 10K would have been like that. But it hasn't happened, and that's over 3 months. So I'm wondering, is it that there is not enough campaign about it? Or is it that these people feigning to love Nnamdi Kanu or be followers of Nnamdi Kanu are not aware of it? Or they're just feigning? And this is a time to show that you are against the injustice being meted out on our people. Because it's not about Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu is the voice and face of Biafrans. So why did we not hit 10K in a month, basically? So
are you saying that the petition haven't hit up to 10K up to this moment?
No, it hasn't. As of now, it's about 8,800 something.
Is it because it hasn't gotten the publicity it required or something?
That's my question. I mean, that's my question. And I have over 20K followers on Twitter. And I don't know what the issue is. I don't know what to say the problem is. But I know what it is still anyway, because our case is different. When people compare us to Nelson Mandela, we are peculiar. We are a certain kind of people. We are very special. And it's one of my frustrations that Biafrans do not know how special they are, and they lag around. They lag around and not use who they are to make waves.
Hold it there, madam. With all due respect, we know who we are. We know we are special. We know we are the children of the rising sun. I'm breaking it down that when it comes to the light, there is a people in Israel known as children of the light, and we are the children of the rising sun. We are the ones that lighten up the world. We enlighten the world. We know who we are. We know our onion. We know who we are. But the only problem, my madam, is the source you have used to reach out is a problem. For a long time, you showed you maintained your privacy. You were quiet in the affairs of Simon Ekpa, and things were moving for you. People loved you, were praising you, were blessing you. The moment they cajoled you into attacking Simon Ekpa, that was where you breached that trust of the people. Because now people started to doubt you that how can you do that? How can the wife of Oyendu do this to Simon Ekpa? Because when your husband was here with us, he was the one that told us to listen to Simon Ekpa, share his videos, because Simon is coming with a new dimension. When your husband was here with us, all the programs he was doing, even the one with the Ambazonia, they signed an MOU. Simon Ekpa was the one he chose to anchor that program. In every outings of Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa, all I have seen was nothing but love. So the moment you came out and you insulted Simon Ekpa, you smeared his name, saying that your child is much, much smarter than Simon Ekpa, and all those things. That was where you made a mistake, because you chose a side. You chose the side of the DOS. And then the people will now have to choose a side. You made the people to choose between Jesus and Barnabas. And the people chose. We chose Simon Ekpa over the DOS. It was like a triangle. Nnamdi Kanu at the top. Left hand side is the DOS. Right hand side is Simon Ekpa. We all love Nnamdi Kanu. We can die for him. We can do anything for him. But now, while he's away, in the triangle, in the triage, who do we listen to? Is it those the DOS that are working with the governors that prescribed IPOB? The Nigerian government did not prescribe IPOB. It was the governors from the southeast that did that. We saw them stand, made a statement, and they did that. And to today, the DOS, they are working with the governors. They are working with the politicians. While Simon Ekpa, on the other hand, is continuing with the good jobs of Nnamdi Kanu. Is improving upon the work of Nnamdi Kanu. We the Biafrans, we know who we are. We ain't stupid. We ain't foolish. We can't be cajole. We are very, very smart. We looked at it the way it is, and we said, we shall pitch our tent on the shoulders of Simon Ekpa. You chose the DOS, and to today, less than 10,000 signatures. They couldn't even offer that to you. I will even tell you, don't praise them for whatever. It was your platform that gave you 8,000 subscribers or signatures. Don't put it on them. They did nothing for you. The people have left them. Till this day, every week, we still do our what? Our fundraising. The Biafrans are coming out, giving out funds, donating funds to the movement because we believe in Simon Ekpa. We believe he's the one doing the job of his leader, Nnamdi Kanu. That's me calling a spade a spade. So don't say, oh, these guys don't know who we are. We know who we are. We are children of God. Ojukwu, Umuchukwu, Umuaka, children with handwork. Umuchukwu, children of God. Ojukwu, the place that God dwells. We know who we are. But unfortunately, we ain't going to give you that signature because you have anchored it on the hands of the DOS. Come to the right channel. You were the one that insulted Simon Ekpa, the man you know people they love. Why didn't you shield your sword until your husband is out? When your husband is out and he gives his judgment, a pronouncement, then we shall follow him. That's me calling a spade a spade. So what you are seeing here now is so far she's gotten 8,000 signatures plus. That's very, very sad. I would have loved to speak on this, but it is not my duty to tell the Biafrans to add signatures to it, because if I do that, those that would now grab the glory will be who? The DOS. That's the problem, because you came out and you supported them and you attacked Simon Ekpa. That was the mistake you made in the chess game. Don't show your hand. Don't show your playing cards. You don't show your playing cards. You keep it and guard it zealously until your leader, your husband, is out. I rest my case. For those that have ears, let them hear. For those that have ears, let them hear. From me, from here, for now, I just want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I remain yours truly, your brother, Biafra Superstars Media. Grand opening, grand closing. God bless you.
Must be restored, for there is nothing the enemies can do about it. You brought Biafra that light may come into Africa. You gave us hope because we are in a continent of hopelessness. And by thy grace, Biafra shall be restored. We shall be resurrected. We shall crown our efforts with the glory by the grace of the Most High Himself. We are not strong, We do not pretend to be strong. All we do is to submit ourselves to your will, that your will may be done upon our lives. We have lost many people. We have lost so many good people. Their sacrifice will never be forgotten. We shall honor them, and for their sake, Biafra will come. Because we are wandering all over the world, hoping against every hope that things will turn around for the better. It has never turned around for the better. Instead, it is getting worse. Please do not abandon your children. You have given us a commission, and we must accomplish it in our lifetime. Our enemies are equally important because they must listen. Those who do not love the truth must listen. Those who are beholden to darkness, they must also listen. For we are here to bring light upon a very darkened continent without Biafra. Africa is nothing without Biafra. There is no difference between a black man and a wild animal in the forest. We say every shred with every ounce of conviction. I welcome each and every one of you. If you're joining us for the very first time, this is Radio Biafra. This is how we do it. We magnify the name of the Most High before we do anything. That is why we are exceptionally formidable. That is why...